Ms. Fatma Bostan Ünsal, you have a very important and a very big role in heading an organization. So, in your mission in your organization, can you give us an idea on how the inner workings? How do you plan? Because it's been 9 years, and I'm sure that you may be working with other organizations just like you, because just one organization is a massive what happened after, Dr. Bayram called it the special operations, and I think it's really massive. It's all sectors of society has been affected by it, and not only for today but also the generations to come, and that is really worrisome, because these young people that are going to be growing up don't understand this. They are innocent, and only what they have seen so far are pain and suffering of their parents, of their sisters and brothers. They have nothing to do with this. And I think you, as a leader of an organization, you have a very big role. And can you tell us how your organization is working on this? Give us that give us hope, especially those that are waiting for a sign of hope that things will change in Turkey.
First job is to talk about the injustice. And also, I want to give one example. It's very relevant today. A town in Istanbul, Büyükçekmece, the mayor of Büyükçekmece now is in prison, has been in prison for maybe 60 days. He is actually cancer. And as he is in prison, his illness, is worse. And he comes and goes to prison, comes and goes to hospital and prison. And although he lives in Istanbul, he's sent to Izmir, different, so far from Istanbul. And it is also KHK trials also the same. People who live in some city, but their prison is far from this. And also surprising, example is Selahattin Demirtaş case. His wife is in Diyarbakır, so the most eastern part of Turkey, but Selahattin Demirtaş is in Edirne, the western part of Turkey. So she is really in difficulty to visit her husband, and also according to human rights courts, he must be released again. There are many human rights courts Turkey has been ignoring repetitively. So first job is to make a report on injustices. This is a relevant one. The Büyükçekmece Mayor Murat Çelik, as he is sick and he is worsening, some people who are very good relations with Tayyip Erdogan and also the ruling party now are saying that it mustn't be like that. He mustn't be in prison now, they are saying. And I am very hopeful now, as the people who are being victimized by the corrupt or the bad procedure, the people nowadays recognize how wide is the injustice. So if they come together and if they say, if they be against of these injustices as a one front, they will be successful, I think. But in Turkey, there are many divisions. And if they overcome the divisions, no one can be successful, and no one can carry on these injustices. Nowadays, Turkey is on the edge of this situation. People from all over the spheres are now in bad condition, and they recognize this. Now it's time to come together to be against of this injustice. If they can do it, they will be successful automatically. I'm very optimistic about this, but the issue is whether the people come together against the bad practices. These because as these practices are prevalent, even the members of ruling party are being affected adversely. As I have already said, the mayor of Istanbul, the former mayor of Istanbul, now he is dead, late. Kadir Topbaş was also in victimized, I think, because of this process. So people can sense that they cannot be secure. They can easily said because they're we are not living on the outer space. We have many friends who they can sense how insecure us, and also how insecure they are, especially after the opposition party members or politicians. Even some public servants now are in prison. So people now can think that they can be against of these bad process. No need to be against of one person. No need. No. We are talking about the process, the arbitrary process. So we can be against of this arbitrary process, and we can be successful. And also, I want to emphasize this. In Turkey, majority of the people are, including me, are very sad about what's going on Gaza. We couldn't do anything. It is so shameful, really. 1 billion, we say that they are Muslims, so there must be solidarity among us, but we cannot do anything to them. They are starving. They are being targeted. They are being bombed. So Muslim people can think that if if they live in different conditions, they could help them. The Gazan people are starving, are being killed just because of their government's position. I think they can think this. So there is alternative thing to make good relations with the whole people, and there must be rule of law. So the people are powerful. They are helping themselves, and also other either Muslims or not living abroad. So at first, inside, Turkish people became powerful because of rule of law. It's so important. If there is rule of law, there is no arbitrary practices. Now in Turkey, we have arbitrary practices every area, including judiciary. And a very important person in the ruling party said that in Turkey now there is political use of judiciary. It's really a big threat to society. So we hope that people can think that they will be against of the arbitrary rule and alternative uh, government rules. They support alternative government and also rule of law. It's enough for me.
For that. So, Dr. Varam, when I first visited Turkey in 2018, and I met with a victim of a KHK victim, there was at the time the numbers were 250,000 people were accused of terrorism. And what he told me is most of those people didn't even know what they did, you know. And after now 9 years, we have a little progress that a lot of Turkish people now recognize the injustice. And so, as Ms. Fatma Bostan Ünsal said, that across Turkey, people are now recognizing that there is injustice against innocent people. Now, you are calling for unity. You said that they come together. If the Turkish people, come together, the chance of the law returning to Turkey, that is possible, but only if people come together. So that is the key, is for people from across, with different political beliefs and religion and ideology, come together. So there's a big role to play. There's Dr. Varan. This is a very big call to action. This is very big. I think not only the from scholars to politicians, the students coming together. There must be some leadership. There must be a leader from each sector of society that people look up to and listen to. Then there will be unity. So we will find this probably. Dr. Baram, what do you think? What's the chances of that unity to come to Turkey? Because we still have so much things to talk about and to discuss, like the Gaza. But in Turkey, we want hope. We want justice.
True. Well, in the past, or traditionally, there were quite prejudices between different social groups or different uh, political groups, basically. Uh, and then the government played those prejudices or differences against each other, and it got its power, present power as is. But uh, societal prejudices uh, as is hurting every section of society now. Because of this, every social group start to think that if anybody of us is not safe, none of us is safe. In the past, people will think, let's say, a person from uh, leftist ideology, if government said that these people were doing some evil things, or these people had some evil connections with outside forces, this and that, the society, ordinary people would believe the government, and then they would, in a sense, I mean, not in real sense, but think it ideologically, they will lynch that guy, that accused person, uh, supporting the government's claims. But these days, especially after Republican People's Party mayors being arrested one after another, if I'm not wrong, 17 of them are in prison now, just the mayors, but their bureaucrats, the people working with them, that they are being arrested as well. This means that over 100 um, uh, over 100 bureaucrats are in prison now, and the government claims that they did this corruption, that corruption, this action against the state, that action against the public, this and that. But people know, they are convinced that these are empty claims, just political claims with no substance. Then they realize that, and then they realize that they are being, in a sense, manipulated by the government propaganda up to now, one against the other. Uh, these days, people from all walks of life, all walks of politics, started to come together little by little. It is not probably at a stage that could be desired, but it's better than nothing. Uh, Basically, government uh, is actually started to worry about the results of its lawlessness, its lawless actions, its arbitrary decisions. Uh, because the government was expecting, obviously, because it worked up to now. If they called somebody was terrorist, people believed it, and their supporters, their voters believed it already. Anyway, but these days, even government supporters themselves uh, do not subscribe to government's propaganda. That is why. That is why hopes are increasing, as Miss Ünsal said. Uh, and then the differences, the gaps between different sections of society in terms of politics or any other uh, differences, that doesn't matter. Uh, start to get lesser and lesser. So community, the different communities, different political groups start to support each other, so that government is trying to find a way out of this lawlessness situation without losing pace. They couldn't find anything up to now because there is a word. I mean, our word is out of this circle, let's say. Uh, uh, you cannot teach an old dog new tricks. Since, like in this proverb, um, well, the government didn't know anything than actually beating uh, their opponents with a bat, whether it is a bat of justice. Uh, I mean, abuse of, in a sense, it's an abuse of justice, as you might guess. It is a bat of bureaucracy. Uh, but due to popular resistance to these tactics, since these tactics do not work as much as used to be, government is trying to find a way out. But as I told you, if they return to law, if they start to respect the law, there is no way they can control the state bureaucracy or the public as is now, because they scared, frightened anybody who did not agree with them. From now on, if they change tactics, that if they say they will respect the law, they will respect the traditions, this and that, then they will not be able to make people to do what they like them to do. That is why there is a panic. But this is a good thing for the oppressed people like us, so that we are expecting some change will happen, not because of government's willingness to respect the law, but they know that their lawlessness is hurting their power. Up to now, it worked in their advantage, but from now, their lawlessness is working in their disadvantage. So things might change. We don't know how fast it will be, but as Ms. Ünsal said, yes, we expect some change will happen, especially after the decision of European Court of Human Rights, as Ms. Ünsal mentioned. Basically, European Court of Human Rights started to give decision on group of cases. Uh, yes, European Court of Human Rights usually give the decision on single or 2-3 people cases, but started to ask defense from Turkey on 1,000 grouped cases. I'm hearing that there are 3,000 grouped cases. I mean, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000 is being asked from the government. It is not the way European Court of Human Rights work. We know, but European Court of Human Rights know that if they actually work on cases one by one, it could take them 20, 30, 40 years without looking at any other case. So the government is not able to delay or in some way manipulate the working system of European Court of Human Rights anymore. So we, due to pressure from that sort of course, or due to pressure from United Nations Human Rights Committee, this and that, well, they feel that they had to do something with little harm to their authority. We don't know whether they will find a way out. Well, I don't think they they will be able to find a way out, but at least if we could get some sort of early elections in 6 months or in a year's time, with a change of government, we might expect changes happening faster and in a better way. Let's hope things will evolve that way. Thank you very much, Merjina, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ram. So it looks like we are seeing hope. I mean, this is an improvement. This is a lot of improvement, recognizing the injustice, and the opposition and the ruling regime is now seeing their mistake is hurting them, and their lawlessness, like you have said, Dr. Ram, is now hurting them, and more and more people are realizing. And then so European courts of human rights looking at the cases in batches, in groups, because there's so many, per one case, there's so many thousands and thousands of people are affected, and they're in the same category, and the same so I think it just makes sense that the European Courts of Human Rights process the cases and make ruling this way. And it's like you said, it's new. They've always done it individually, but the number of people, the victims, are just so much that they have to do something. So there are things that are happening, and maybe the change of government election will happen. So it's moving in the right direction, even though it's not, for me, as somebody that looking from the outside, is fast enough, because I'm always concerned of those innocent victims, especially the very young ones that don't understand why they are suffering. For me, looking from the outside, why I want it fast, but it's not. The process is not that way. The process could be slow and meticulous, but if something is going to in the right direction, that is a positive thing, and this is what we always want to happen as we work here at the Global Dialogue for Justice and Scholars Work Series. We try very hard, and a sign of hope is a sign of hope. So we have more to discuss, and that's why we're doing regularly this kind of publication in working side by side with scholars and academics. So I am really extremely grateful. So I would like to ask our guest, Miss Fatma Bostan Ünsal, your message to your people, to the people of Turkey, and also the international community.
I believe in a saying that if there is a will, there is a way. So I know the importance of the will. As we look at the women's movement, we can see how the action of will, can be successful. 100 years ago, women did not have education, jobs, or even right to vote. But nowadays, it's unthinkable of not having these rights. So I believe in action of will. So if we come together and make practices to have rule of law, we will solve our problems, and also we can help other people, whether Muslims or not Muslims, but now Gaza, the Muslim people, we are thinking on and on them naturally. So this is my message.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Dr. Bayram, you always help us and guide us here at the Global Dialogue for Justice, and your message is always powerful and impactful. So what is your message to the Turkish people and the international community?
Well, justice eventually wins, so that we should keep on fighting for justice, so that evil men never wins. This is all I'm going to say for your audience, to your audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and I hope you return to the Scholars Work series, because we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of things to discuss. We have a lot of people to help. And so I think our work is really important. It's not easy, but this is really who we are and what we are. And so until next time, I hope to see you, and I hope the students and our educators will and will pay attention to what we're talking about, because it is really important that we learn, that we become aware of what's happening in the world. So next time we have other topics. Plus, we continue to inform and engage our community about what's happening in Turkey. Developments in Turkey is positive, and I'm excited when I see and I hear hope. And also, we want to discuss what's happening in Gaza, and of course, my country, the United States of America. So I will see you soon. Thank you again so much, and have a good day.